Some insane breaking news coming out of the entertainment world, or at least the reality TV part of the world, in which we are finding that Lauren Sanchez, who recently got married to billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, is now in a war of war.
But I also think that Lauren Sanchez, we talk about this all the time. The more someone protests to the contrary, the more likely the opposite is to be true. Lauren Sanchez living her best life? I don't think so. I think she's paying a very, very, very high price.
Jeff Bezos, the famous Amazon founder, recently won a massive $5 billion lawsuit against his wife, Lauren Sanchez, in a stunning legal victory. This shocking outcome has grabbed global attention, becoming a key moment in their highly publicized legal fight. The case, filled with drama, shows the clash of wealth and personal ties. This win has sparked widespread interest, highlighting the challenges of high-profile disputes. Bezos' courtroom success mirrors his business strategies, navigating complex legal waters. The $5 billion judgment has fueled debates about wealth, relationships, and justice, making it a landmark case in modern legal history.
They would choose to stay in a relationship that is characterized by bullying, fear, and panic.
The renowned billionaire, who seemed to possess everything, lavish living, endless riches, and a new love story, suddenly became entangled in a heated legal conflict that stunned the world. This intense courtroom drama, filled with unexpected twists, sent ripples globally, capturing widespread attention. The dispute, rooted in personal and financial complexities, revealed the vulnerabilities even the wealthiest face, shaking the perception of an untouchable lifestyle. This legal clash turned heads everywhere as the billionaire's glamorous world of luxury homes, private jets, and a blossoming romance was overshadowed by courtroom battles. The case, widely covered by media, sparked debates about wealth, power, and relationships, showing how quickly fortunes can shift. It became a global spectacle, with people glued to every update, highlighting the unpredictable nature of life at the top.
I think that the divorce and the affair definitely showed a side of Jeff Bezos that we weren't aware of, and I think it did make some investors nervous. It kind of showed a more reckless or a more personal side of his life, which I do think was kind of concerning to some people.
The legal battle, shrouded in mystery, ignited global intrigue about how events could spiral so dramatically, following what appeared to be a dreamy fairy tale romance just months earlier. This secretive case, with its hidden details, fueled intense public curiosity, leaving people eager to understand the sudden shift. The once celebrated love story, widely admired for its charm, now stood overshadowed by a contentious dispute, captivating audiences worldwide. This lawsuit, cloaked in confidentiality, became a focal point for speculation as details remained scarce, yet fascination grew. The contrast between the couple's earlier public displays of affection and the current legal turmoil stunned onlookers, who wondered how such a celebrated relationship could unravel so quickly. Media outlets buzzed with theories, while the public followed every hint, eager to uncover what led to this unexpected and dramatic turn of events.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez get married because that's what you do when you are Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. You invite only your close, you're literally one of the richest men in the world, worth $250 billion.
Consider Lauren Sanchez's actions and the way she has lived her life, which have now come under intense scrutiny. As Jeff Bezos secured a stunning legal victory, many began to wonder what motivated the Amazon mogul to take such a drastic step against the woman he once publicly celebrated with admiration. How did Sanchez, who previously seemed invincible as his partner, find herself abruptly facing a colossal billion-dollar debt in what felt like an instant? This dramatic turn has sparked widespread speculation about the reasons behind Bezos' decision to confront Sanchez legally. Observers are dissecting her past choices and their once glamorous relationship, questioning what could have led to such a fallout. The public, captivated by this saga, is eager to understand how their seemingly perfect bond unraveled, leaving Sanchez burdened with a staggering financial obligation almost overnight. The case continues to fuel debates about trust, betrayal, and the complexities of their high-profile lives.
Divorce is expected to finalize within the next 90 days.
The divorce proceedings are expected to conclude within the next 3 months, marking the end of a highly publicized chapter. The saga began with a grand wedding, celebrated globally as the spectacle of the century, a dazzling $50 million affair held in the picturesque, romantic heart of Venice, Italy, captivating audiences worldwide. This impending divorce, set to wrap up soon, has kept the public on edge, eagerly awaiting its resolution. The journey started with an opulent marriage ceremony that was nothing short of extraordinary, drawing admiration for its lavish displays and stunning Venetian backdrop. The event, filled with glamour and extravagance, was once seen as a symbol of enduring love, making the swift transition to legal battles all the more shocking. The world watches as this once celebrated union unravels, highlighting the unpredictable nature of high-profile relationships.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez had a prime day at their wedding. The two said "I do" in Venice, Italy on Friday.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez went all out, hosting a spectacular 3-day extravaganza attended by Hollywood celebrities, tech moguls, and influential figures. What was intended as a stunning display of their immense wealth quickly turned into a notorious public relations fiasco. Soon after the grand celebration concluded, whispers of dissatisfaction began circulating widely. Attendees started sharing humiliating anecdotes, describing the opulent event as disorganized, chaotic, and unexpectedly tasteless, despite its lavish appearance. The couple spared no cost, pulling out all the stops to create a memorable event filled with star-studded glamour. However, the elaborate affair, meant to dazzle, backfired spectacularly, becoming a topic of ridicule. Guests' leaked stories highlighted logistical mishaps and gaudy elements that clashed with the expected elegance, tarnishing the event's grandeur. The fallout fueled public curiosity, turning the once celebrated occasion into a cautionary tale of excess gone wrong, with the world eagerly discussing its surprising shortcomings.
Some insane breaking news coming out of the entertainment world, or at least the reality TV part of the world, in which we are finding that Lauren Sanchez, who recently got married to billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, is now in a war of words with the Kardashians. And not just Kim Kardashian, but Kourtney Kardashian, and then the other one that I forget her name. Those three are in a war with Lauren Sanchez over what happened at Lauren Sanchez's wedding.
Stories surfaced about inadequate lodging, disappointing cuisine, and numerous organizational blunders at the event, shocking many given Jeff Bezos' renowned attention to detail and commitment to excellence. These shortcomings swiftly dominated tabloid headlines and exploded across social media platforms, where detractors fiercely criticized the billionaire pair. Many labeled them as disconnected from reality, prioritizing ostentatious displays over genuine, considerate hospitality. The reports painted a picture of an event marred by substandard arrangements, from uncomfortable accommodations to lackluster meals, which seemed unthinkable for someone like Bezos, known for his meticulous standards. The news spread like wildfire, with critics on social media amplifying the event's flaws, turning it into a public spectacle. Observers accused the couple of chasing superficial grandeur instead of focusing on meaningful guest experiences, sparking debates about their priorities and reinforcing perceptions of their extravagance as out of touch.
I just feel like the excessiveness of it is meant, it's the same thing as like fanning out your money and with a middle finger in front of it for the paparazzi. That's who it is, because they call the paparazzi. That I am 100% convinced.
Yeah.
The lavish ceremony, intended to showcase Jeff Bezos' devotion and vast fortune, dramatically misfired, casting a persistent shadow over the public images of both him and Lauren Sanchez. This debacle laid the groundwork for rising conflicts that soon erupted into a heated legal showdown. Beneath the sparkling facade of their grand Venetian wedding, issues were already brewing. Right after the festivities, whispers of discord emerged, with reports of fiery disputes hidden behind their radiant smiles. Insiders quietly shared tales of escalating arguments and deep-rooted bitterness festering between the couple. The opulent event, meant to be a testament to their love and wealth, instead became a public relations disaster, tarnishing their reputations. The fallout set the tone for the bitter legal battle that followed, as tensions that had been bubbling beneath the surface came to light. Guests and close associates began leaking stories of heated exchanges, revealing a stark contrast to the couple's polished public personas. These revelations fueled speculation, highlighting a growing rift that would soon captivate global attention with its intensity and drama. The world saw only the dazzling images of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, beaming and clasping hands in public. Behind closed doors, however, growing distrust was quietly eroding their bond. Insiders revealed that fiery disputes, particularly over the chaotic wedding, fueled their rift. The tension largely stemmed from Sanchez's lavish spending habits and her determination to control every aspect of the event, which significantly contributed to the disarray and the dissatisfaction voiced by attendees. These polished photographs masked a relationship increasingly strained by suspicion and conflict. Sources close to the pair shared that intense arguments became frequent, with the disastrous ceremony serving as a major flashpoint. Sanchez's penchant for extravagant expenditures and her hands-on approach to managing every wedding detail were blamed for the event's logistical failures, frustrating guests and amplifying the couple's discord. This underlying turmoil, hidden from public view, set the stage for their eventual legal confrontation, as the once glamorous partnership began to unravel under the weight of these unresolved issues.
Jeff Bezos reportedly felt profound embarrassment and betrayal, believing Sanchez's actions had severely damaged his public image. Close friends shared that intimate dinners frequently escalated into heated shouting matches. Once joyful vacations were marred by icy silences, and social events turned awkward due to their strained exchanges. What started as hushed rumors soon became an undeniable truth as the couple's joint appearances dwindled significantly, fueling widespread chatter that their once charmed romance had spiraled into a private ordeal. This sense of humiliation weighed heavily on Bezos, who felt that Sanchez's choices had tarnished his carefully crafted reputation. Insiders described how private gatherings, once filled with warmth, became battlegrounds for loud disputes, while luxurious getaways lost their sparkle amid cold, unspoken tensions. Public outings, once a showcase of their unity, grew rare, prompting speculation about their unraveling bond. The shift from a celebrated love story to a strained, troubled relationship captivated onlookers, as whispers of their discord painted a stark contrast to their earlier fairy tale-like public persona. Few could have predicted Jeff Bezos' audacious next step, a groundbreaking legal action filed against his own spouse, Lauren Sanchez. The billionaire community was left reeling when reports surfaced that Bezos had initiated a staggering $5 billion lawsuit against her, alleging deceit, violation of trust, and profound emotional distress. This bombshell lawsuit stunned observers, not just because of its colossal financial demand, but also due to its swift timing, coming so soon after their extravagant wedding festivities. The unexpected move sent shockwaves through elite circles, as no one foresaw Bezos taking such a dramatic legal stance against Sanchez. The lawsuit's massive monetary claim, coupled with accusations of betrayal and emotional harm, captivated global attention, amplifying the drama of their unraveling relationship. The speed with which this legal battle followed their highly publicized, lavish nuptials only deepened the public's fascination, as whispers of their discord painted a stark contrast to their earlier fairy tale-like public persona.
Court papers revealed shocking claims against Lauren Sanchez, suggesting that she had deliberately passed on highly sensitive and damaging information to the press. These reports included not only private conversations between her and Jeff Bezos, but also personal details about his life and confidential matters related to his business empire. According to the lawsuit, this was not a mistake or an accident. It was described as a carefully organized act of betrayal. The documents argued that Sanchez did not act alone. Instead, she allegedly worked together with unknown insiders who may have helped her strategically leak the information. The purpose, the case claimed, was to humiliate Bezos publicly and to weaken his standing, both as a business leader and as a global figure. The accusations painted a devastating picture. Bezos was left not just with a tarnished reputation, but also with deep emotional scars. News agencies and gossip outlets immediately jumped on the story, eager to find out what had really happened behind closed doors. Journalists speculated endlessly about what kind of evidence Bezos' legal team might present in court. Was there proof of secret meetings, hidden recordings, or confidential documents handed over to the press? In just a matter of days, Sanchez's public image changed dramatically. She was no longer seen only as the glamorous partner of one of the richest men in the world. Instead, headlines now labeled her as a possible betrayer, someone whose loyalty was being openly questioned. She suddenly found herself under intense public pressure, defending her integrity while the world watched. Still, despite the noise and endless rumors, one critical question dominated conversations everywhere. Could Jeff Bezos truly back up these explosive claims with undeniable proof? Or was this simply a high-profile legal battle fueled by personal conflict?
But another possibility continued to haunt the public's imagination. Was this lawsuit nothing more than a bold, calculated act of revenge from one of the world's wealthiest men? As the trial unfolded day after day, the courtroom quickly transformed into something resembling a grand stage, where each testimony and document revealed layers of hidden truths. What once appeared to be a glamorous love story admired by millions around the globe was now being dismantled in front of cameras and reporters, exposing a far darker and more complicated reality. Bezos' legal team wasted no time in laying out their case. They arrived with a stack of accusations, each one more dramatic than the last, portraying Sanchez not as a victim of circumstances, but as the central architect of betrayal. The narrative was carefully crafted to show that she had not acted impulsively, but rather with cold calculation. According to Bezos, Sanchez had intentionally taken steps to damage him in the most personal and public way possible. The claims suggested that she leaked private text messages that were meant to remain intimate, exposing them for the world to see. Beyond that, she was accused of passing along confidential emails containing sensitive information that could tarnish his business and reputation if made public. Even more shocking, there were suggestions that she had secretly recorded conversations, storing the evidence until the right moment to release it. To Bezos, these actions were not random mistakes. They were presented as part of a deliberate effort to weaken his carefully built image as a respected entrepreneur, innovator, and cultural icon. Every revelation in court added to the sense of betrayal, leaving the public questioning just how deep this alleged scheme might have gone and whether the truth would ever be fully revealed.
The evidence that came before the court was nothing short of astonishing. Document after document, message after message, painted a picture that seemed almost unreal. Among the most shocking pieces were a series of text messages that, according to the claims, revealed Sanchez engaging in secret discussions with unnamed associates. These messages allegedly outlined a plan to publicly humiliate Jeff Bezos, striking directly at his reputation not only as a leading businessman, but also as a philanthropist admired on the global stage. The drama deepened when witnesses stepped forward with even more startling revelations. Testimonies described how private investigators had uncovered hidden communications, some of which were encrypted to avoid detection. These messages allegedly connected Sanchez to covert financial arrangements, payments that, according to the narrative, helped fund the betrayal and keep her collaborators silent. Each new revelation added layers of intrigue, giving the impression of a carefully organized strategy rather than a series of careless mistakes. Inside the courtroom, Bezos' legal team delivered their argument with intensity, portraying Sanchez as far from a misunderstood partner. Instead, she was cast as a calculated and ruthless manipulator, someone driven not by love or loyalty, but by resentment, bitterness, and a hunger for influence. The case suggested that she had weaponized her close relationship with Bezos, using access to his personal and professional life as a tool to damage him while securing her own advantage. The accusations were explosive, and they spread like wildfire outside the courthouse. Social media platforms erupted with debate, with people fiercely divided over whether Sanchez was truly guilty of such extreme actions or whether this was simply a powerful man's attempt to destroy his partner's credibility. And yet, despite all the shocking claims already revealed, observers were warned that the biggest twist in this unfolding saga had not even been exposed. The tension inside the courtroom reached its highest point when Lauren Sanchez was confronted with questions about suspicious financial dealings uncovered by the investigative team working for Bezos. These were not minor inconsistencies, but rather large, undeniable sums of money that had been carefully moved through shadowy channels. Investigators claimed to have tracked the funds into offshore accounts registered under obscure names, suggesting that the money was used to quietly bankroll covert operations designed to harm Bezos' reputation and destabilize his public standing. As each transaction was presented before the court, the atmosphere grew heavier. What had once been whispered rumors now appeared in black and white records, and every new revelation seemed to further erode Sanchez's credibility. For those sitting in the gallery, it was an almost cinematic moment, an audience watching a carefully built image of wealth and glamour begin to collapse under the weight of cold financial evidence. Murmurs filled the courtroom, disbelief spread across faces, and even seasoned reporters described the unfolding events as nothing short of breathtaking. By now, the carefully crafted narrative of a fairy tale romance between a billionaire and his glamorous partner had completely unraveled. Instead, what the world saw was a relationship tainted from the very beginning by layers of hidden agendas, secret financial maneuvers, and motives that suggested betrayal rather than love. The story shifted from one of luxury and admiration to one of suspicion and manipulation. But the most startling moment was still to come. After weeks of dramatic testimony, high-stakes questioning, and an endless parade of witnesses, the court was finally ready to deliver its judgment. The jury's decision landed with the force of an earthquake, sending shockwaves not only through the courtroom but across the globe, ensuring that this case would be remembered for years as one of the most shocking legal battles of the modern era.
In the end, Jeff Bezos emerged with a resounding and undeniable victory in the courtroom. The outcome of the $5 billion lawsuit was not just in his favor, but overwhelmingly so, with the jury delivering a swift and unanimous decision. Their conclusion was clear. Lauren Sanchez had knowingly and deliberately orchestrated damaging leaks and calculated acts of public humiliation against Bezos. According to the ruling, these actions were not harmless or impulsive mistakes. They were deliberate choices that inflicted profound emotional distress and serious harm to his hard-earned global reputation. For Bezos, the judgment validated everything he had claimed from the start, that he had been the target of a betrayal designed to weaken him both personally and professionally. For Sanchez, however, the verdict was devastating. Once admired as one half of a glamorous power couple who seemed to live above the troubles of ordinary life, she was now cast in a very different light. The ruling required her to pay an astronomical sum of $5 billion in damages, a financial blow so staggering that it instantly reshaped her public identity. Almost overnight, Sanchez went from being known as a high-profile media personality and the stylish partner of the world's richest man to being portrayed as someone facing ruinous financial consequences. Her image as a jet-setting socialite, flying in private planes and appearing at elite events, was now overshadowed by the reality of a crushing debt that would haunt her for years to come. The Courtroom decision marked a dramatic turning point not just in her personal life, but also in the broader narrative surrounding the Bezos-Sanchez relationship. What had once been celebrated as a luxurious and enviable romance ended in a judgment that stunned the world, serving as both a cautionary tale and a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change when betrayal comes to light.
The announcement of the verdict instantly set off a storm in the media. Within minutes, every major news outlet carried bold headlines, declaring Bezos' triumph in what was being called one of the most expensive and dramatic courtroom battles of the decade. Television anchors debated the case with urgency, while newspapers splashed his stunning legal victory across their front pages in oversized print. At the same time, social media platforms lit up like wildfire, filled with fiery discussions, divided opinions, and endless speculation. For many observers, the decision was seen as the ultimate validation of Bezos' claims, proving that his accusations had been rooted in truth. Yet others raised a very different question. Had the jury delivered real justice, or had Lauren Sanchez been turned into nothing more than a convenient scapegoat in a powerful billionaire's relentless fight to protect his empire and pride? The online debates quickly grew heated, with some voices praising Bezos for standing his ground, while others accused him of waging a merciless campaign of revenge under the cover of legal legitimacy. Inside the courthouse, the contrast between the two former partners could not have been starker. Jeff Bezos left the room with an air of vindication, his legal team standing tall beside him as cameras flashed and microphones surrounded him. For him, the verdict was a moment of triumph, not only restoring his public image, but also sending a message about betrayal and accountability. Lauren Sanchez, however, walked away in an entirely different shadow. Gone was the polished, confident figure once associated with red carpets, exclusive events, and high society circles. Instead, she left the courthouse under the weight of disgrace, her carefully cultivated public persona shattered beyond repair. The woman once admired as glamorous and influential now faced the grim reality of a reputation left in ruins, a fall from grace witnessed by the entire world. In the days that followed the dramatic verdict, the spotlight shifted almost entirely onto Lauren Sanchez's uncertain future. Commentators and analysts debated endlessly about the challenges that now lay before her. Could she possibly recover from such a devastating financial judgment? Was it even realistic to think that she could rebuild a reputation so deeply fractured in the public eye? Some speculated that she might attempt a comeback through media appearances, interviews, or even memoir-style revelations. But others argued that the stain of betrayal would linger far too strongly to allow any genuine rehabilitation of her image.
At the same time, Jeff Bezos appeared to bask in his legal triumphs. To him and his supporters, the courtroom victory represented closure, a way of proving that he had been the victim of deliberate betrayal and malicious intent. Yet, despite the celebration, an uncomfortable question hung heavily in the air. Had this lawsuit truly restored his standing as a respected business titan, or had it unintentionally magnified the very scandals he hoped to silence? After all, the trial had dragged his personal life, private communications, and intimate relationships under a harsh public spotlight, ensuring that the details would remain etched in headlines for years to come. The public's reaction was as divided as it was intense. On one side, many praised Bezos for showing strength and refusing to allow a betrayal of such scale to go unpunished. To them, he was a figure of resilience, demonstrating that even the world's richest man was not immune to being wronged. On the other side, critics viewed his victory far less favorably. They argued that Bezos had wielded his extraordinary wealth and power like a weapon, crushing someone who had once been close to him. To these detractors, the lawsuit symbolized not justice, but revenge, raising questions about the blurred line between accountability and the ruthless use of influence. Almost overnight, Jeff Bezos, who had long tried to keep his private life away from public scrutiny, found himself at the very center of a heated global debate. The trial and its shocking verdict had not only exposed hidden truths about his personal life, but also ignited broader conversations about power, relationships, and the pursuit of revenge. To many observers, this case became more than just a dispute between two former partners. It became a symbol of how influence and wealth could shape the meaning of justice itself. A sizable portion of the public rallied behind Lauren Sanchez, expressing sympathy for the fallen media personality. Critics argued that Bezos had effectively weaponized the legal system, using his unmatched financial resources to crush someone he once publicly cherished. To them, the lawsuit looked less like a quest for justice and more like a carefully executed act of vengeance. But there was an equally vocal counter-argument. Supporters of Bezos claimed the verdict delivered a powerful warning that betrayal, manipulation, and deception would not be tolerated, no matter how wealthy, famous, or glamorous the individuals might be.
Amidst this whirlwind of speculation, fiery headlines, and endless online commentary, Bezos himself chose an unexpected approach. Rather than bask in his courtroom victory, he deliberately retreated from the public spotlight, refusing interviews and avoiding the media frenzy. His silence only fueled further debate. Was he choosing dignity over drama? Or was he trying to avoid deeper scrutiny into his personal affairs? While Bezos remained quiet, Sanchez's struggles became painfully visible. Reports circulated that she was rapidly losing high-profile sponsorships, cutting ties with friends, and being excluded from the elite social circles where she had once moved with ease. The woman who had once embodied glamour and influence was now portrayed as an outsider, left to confront a shattered reputation and an uncertain future. What began as a dazzling love story, marked by luxury and grandeur, had ended in bitter ashes. The billionaire couple whose lavish wedding in Venice once captivated the world had now become a cautionary tale, their union broken beyond repair. Once celebrated as a symbol of modern glamour, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez were now etched into history as two figures bound not by love, but by scandal, betrayal, and one of the most closely followed celebrity court battles of the decade. The trial had transformed both of their lives forever. For Bezos, the courtroom victory was unprecedented, not merely for the staggering $5 billion awarded, but for the way it positioned him as someone who had fought back against betrayal on the most public of stages. Yet even as he walked away with the legal win, questions lingered about whether the ordeal had truly restored his reputation, or if it had permanently entangled him in controversy. His personal life, once guarded behind the walls of immense wealth, was now open to global dissection. For Sanchez, the fallout was devastating. Once admired for her glamorous lifestyle and her presence in elite circles, she now faced the world's scrutiny with her credibility shattered and her future uncertain.
Her name, once associated with style and influence, had become synonymous with scandal and downfall. But beyond the individuals involved, the case left behind a haunting question that captured the public imagination. Does extraordinary wealth protect someone from betrayal, insulating them with resources and influence? Or, paradoxically, does it magnify the pain, ensuring that when betrayal arrives, it cuts deeper, leaving scars that no fortune can erase? The Bezos-Sanchez saga will be remembered not only as a courtroom drama, but as a reminder of how love, power, and betrayal collide when the stakes are measured in billions.
For Jeff Bezos, the $5 billion courtroom victory represented far more than the mere recovery of wealth or the repair of a public image. It was a profound moment of personal vindication, the culmination of months spent enduring intense public scrutiny, rumors, and humiliation. The case allowed him to assert control over a narrative that had threatened to spiral beyond his influence, turning private betrayal into a dramatic story of triumph. Yet despite this monumental legal win, the victory came with a heavy shadow. Critics and observers quickly pointed out the complex consequences of such a triumph. Many argued that Bezos' actions, though legally justified, painted a picture of a man willing to wield his immense power with ruthless precision, even against someone he had once held close. Public sentiment became deeply divided. Some admired him for standing his ground and defending himself, while others viewed his approach as emblematic of a relentless use of wealth and influence to dominate personal conflicts. This duality transformed his public image from untouchable mogul to a figure both admired and scrutinized, leaving audiences with mixed feelings about the man behind the empire. Meanwhile, Lauren Sanchez faced consequences that extended far beyond financial penalties. The court's decision left her reputation in tatters, stripping away the glamour and influence she once enjoyed. The extravagant $50 million wedding, once celebrated as a symbol of luxury, success, and high society, now served as a stark reminder of excess, fragility, and the hidden dysfunction that had plagued their relationship from the start. What had once been a picture-perfect union was now a cautionary tale, illustrating how wealth and power can amplify betrayal, escalate conflict, and leave lasting scars that money alone cannot heal. In the end, the Bezos-Sanchez saga was not just a legal battle. It was a dramatic story of human ambition, heartbreak, and the high stakes of love and betrayal at the pinnacle of wealth. The courtroom battle between Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez revealed more than just financial and legal conflict. It exposed the unsettling fragility of relationships built on wealth, glamour, and social status. Behind the glittering public image and high-profile lifestyle, the trial laid bare the vulnerabilities and tensions that often simmer beneath even the most enviable unions. The luxurious veneer of the relationship could not withstand scrutiny, and what once appeared as love and partnership was revealed to be a delicate web easily disrupted by betrayal, mistrust, and hidden agendas. When the dust settled, Bezos emerged as the undeniable victor of the $5 billion lawsuit. On paper, he had reclaimed not only an enormous sum of money, but also a sense of personal justice. Yet even this victory came with significant and perhaps irreplaceable costs. While Sanchez faced immediate financial ruin and public disgrace, Bezos himself could not escape the broader consequences. The trial and its revelations left permanent marks on his personal life, including the erosion of trust, the loss of intimacy, and a subtle yet significant shift in public perception. His once seemingly untouchable reputation was now a complex tapestry of admiration, skepticism, and unease. For the world watching, the saga was mesmerizing yet deeply unsettling. Millions followed every development, captivated by the drama, the glamour, and the staggering sums involved. Yet beneath the spectacle lay an uncomfortable truth. Even immense wealth and power cannot shield a relationship from the strains of betrayal, ambition, and human emotion. In the end, The Bezos-Sanchez saga serves as a stark reminder that no amount of money, fame, or influence can fully protect love from the pressures of scrutiny, expectation, and personal conflict. It left audiences pondering a sobering question. Can any relationship truly survive under the relentless gaze of the public eye when stakes are measured in billions?